Hello everyone. I welcome you all to this lesson. Today I am going to take up the topic The Night Mail, which is written by W.H. Auden. So here I begin. And before that, let me ask you, have you subscribed to my channel? If you have not subscribed up till now, then please do. And watch the video till end. And press the like button if you have liked my video, and I'm sure you are going to like it as it is going to help you in your exams. So children, here I begin. Before starting with the line by line explanation, let me tell you something about the poet W.H. Auden. He was a renowned poet born in New York, England. Born in York, England in 1907. He studied at Oxford and was influenced by the poets like Thomas Hardy, Robert Frost and William Blake. He has written number of poems, and his poem establishes him as a leading voice in 1930. So children, he was a prolific writer and a noted playwright. He was a liberalist, he was an editor and essayist. He died in Venice in 1973 and is considered the greatest English poet of the 20th century. So children, in this poem, it demonstrates the poet's ability to convey complex ideas and emotions through simple and precise language. In this poem, the poet has given the description of the night mail train's journey in vivid and evocative, capturing the sense of power and emotions of the train as it travels through the landscape. So in this poem, I am going to explain you line by line explanation. So I will be explaining to you 2 lines at a time with its word meanings as well as the literary devices I'll be giving you. So my first 2 lines of the poem are, this is the night mail crossing the border. So children, what does border means? Border means a dividing line between the 2 countries or regions. Bring the checks and the postal order. Postal order is a financial document that can be used as a form of payment. So here the poet says he personifies a crude object. So here the poet, what does it tries to say? It says that it is describing the night mail crossing the border. And what is the border? Border is between England and Scotland. So the poet personifies a crude object like the night mail as a vibrant horse. It establishes communication between different segments of society. It maintains its steadiness despite the difficulties in its way. So the night mail travels from one country to another, from place to place, and brings the post such as letters, checks, and postal orders for the people. The border mentioned in the poem is the border of England and Scotland, and by crossing all boundaries, it hands over the mail to all sorts of people. It does not know racial distinctions and other prejudices. So, what does the night mail train do? It crosses the border, carries the letter and the mail for all sections of the people, all social classes and locations. So the night mail is referred to as a specific type of mail delivery services that is operated during the night while most of the people were asleep. So now I move towards the next stanza, and the lines are, letter for the rich and letters for the poor. the shop at the corner, the girl next door. The rhyming scheme followed in this line is AA. So here what the poet says is that it carries that is the night mail, it carries different sorts of letters having different messages to various class of people. It carries formal as well as informal letters. Thus, it is a source of satisfaction and comforts for the poor and the rich, for the businessmen and common people. It does not know any sort of discrimination. It satisfies the need of all sorts of people. So here the poet says that the train carrying the letters for rich, letters for poor suggests that mail services is accessible to all members of the society, regardless of their social status. So now I move towards the next stanza, the next line, that is line number 5 and 6. And the lines are: pulling up Bittock, a steady climb, the gradients against her, but she is on time. So here again the rhyming scheme followed in these lines is AA, and the poet personifies night mail as he gives human qualities to it by using the pronoun she for the train. You can see, children, it's written, but she is on time. So who is she? She is a train, and train is being personified as a human. So the explanation of these lines, its journey, that is the train's journey, is very arduous. Sometimes it runs up Bittock, a hilly place, along the steep slope. The overcomes the sheer ascent and reaches the destination on time. Although it is difficult to move along a sharp rise, it does not get late and is always on time. It crosses all the hurdles and obstacles on its way. Human weaknesses such as laziness and lethargy are unknown to it. So the poet says that the train is described as a Bittock. And Bittock, what is Bittock? In this particular line, Bittock is a village in Scotland, and the reference to it in the poem, along the gradient against her, but she is on time, suggests that the train is transferring, is passing through difficult terrain, but still the train manages to stay on schedule, means to say that she is never late. These lines depict the night mail train as a reliable and inclusive service that delivers mail to all members of the society, despite the difficulties on the way of the train and the obstacles it faces. So the journey of the train used here is said that she is always on time. Now I move towards the next two lines, and that is: past cotton grass and moorland, boulder shoveling, white steam over her shoulder. So children, cotton grass means it is a type of grass that grows in wet areas, and moorland is an area, open, rolling, uncultivated land typically covered in heather. And boulder means a large rock that has been worn smooth by the action of water. So here what the poet says that the poet says that the phrase her shoulder personifies night mail as he gives human qualities to it by talking about the train as though it were a woman. The shoulder is a part of human body, not a part of the train. And the rhyming scheme in these lines is AA. The visual images like the white steam and more land boulder gives the reader a clear picture of the train's journey. Now the explanation of these two lines. So the poet says that the train goes past the cotton fields and the uncultivated rocky land without taking any notice of them. It covers long distances. The poet personifies night mail in this verse and compares it to a lady who is scooping and shoveling steam over her shoulders while racing to reach her destination. The train rushes past and overloads everything. It seems that it is concerned only with the conveyance and transportation of correspondence. She moves on and never stops. So now I move towards the next two lines, that is line number 9 and 10. And the lines from the poem are: snorting noisily she passes, silent miles of wind bent grasses. So here in these two lines the poet personifies night mail as he gives human quality to it by using the pronoun she for the train. The rhyming scheme is in these lines is AA. And the explanation of line number 10 and 9 and 10. So here the poet says that roaring and creating a loud snorting sound, the train proceeds and passes on from one point to another. She covers the long distances and passes by the grassy fields. When it passes nearby the grassy fields, the pressure of the air causes the grass bends and bow. By using the word silent miles, the poet uses a figure of speech called transferred epithet. In this figure of speech, an epithet, that is an adjective, is transferred from its proper word to another word closely connected with it. There is a silence in the grassy field, and miles are not silent. Thus, the poet transfers the epithet, that is the silent, from the proper word wind bent grasses to miles. Now I move towards the next lines, line number 11 and 12. Birds turn their heads as she approaches, stare from bushes at a blank-faced coaches. So here what the poet says that in this poem the rhyming scheme used is AA, and the explanation of line number 11 and 12. The noise had blast the coming train, making the birds look at it from their bushes. They look at it with surprise, keenness, and pleasure. They can see no human faces and find the carriages impressionless. They realize at once that the coach has an impassive face. She only takes interest in her aim of distributing the postal matter on time. So children, the words like the gradient I had already told you is the degree of steepness of a slope or road. Boulder is a large rock that has been worn smooth by the action of water. Shoveling is to push or scoop something using a shovel. Steam is a visible mist created when water is heated to its boiling point. and snorting is to make a loud noise through its noise. Wind bent means bent or sharp by the wind. So here what the poet says, that the train, her only aim is to move forward, to move ahead, forgetting about everything. Now I move towards line number 13 and 14, and the lines are: sheepdogs cannot turn her course, they slumber on their paws across. So children, here the word sheepdog means a dog that is used to herd sheep, and slumber means to sleep deeply and peacefully. So here the rhyming scheme used is AA. And the explanation of line number 13 to 14 is: sheepdogs are very sensitive. They get up whenever some intruder tries to get nearer the herd. But on the arrival of the train, they do not wake up. The train is no more a subject of curiosity for them. They know she is harmless. They are also aware of the fact that they are unable to affect the journey of the train. Realizing the reality, they do not move and remain in the same posture, crossing-legged and relaxed. Now line number 15 and 16. So in this line, and the lines from the poem are: in the farm sheep passes, no one awakes, but a jug in the bedroom gently shakes. So here the rhyming scheme is AA, and the explanation of these two lines is: the people living along the railway track have become habitual on her arrival, that is, on the arrival of the train, and they do not feel any disturbance. They know that the train is always in service of the human beings. They know that the train is harmless. She does not cause any change while crossing the fields and farms, except a little vibration. Pretty things like a jug in the bedroom shakes and vibrates as the train passes by the farm and countryside. Now, and the rhyming scheme used in this line is AA. So children, what is the main idea of the poem Night Mail? So the main idea of the poem is the depiction and admiration of the night mail that brings luxury, ease and comfort to our lives. It has human characteristics as it treats both the rich and poor alike. It carries checks, postal orders and letters for everyone. In spite of its arduous journey, it overcomes all hurdles and barriers, and it is always on time. Everyone has become used to it, as it is no more an object of disturbance even for the birds and animals. So children, this was the explanation of from line number 1 to line number 16, which I have given to you, that is 2 stanzas from the poem. In my next video, I'll be coming up with the next explanation of the poem. Hope you will understand these lines very well, and I will be coming up with the question and answers based on these stanzas, so that you can understand and write the answers very well. So children, with these words I end my lesson. Hope this lesson will be beneficial for you in your studies. Do like, share and subscribe my channel. Thank you.